going to look at order of operations again in this section 2.5, and these are going to include sign numbers, so we'll just have to be careful about that. So our first level is parentheses, and this level can also include your grouping symbols. So parentheses, brackets, absolute values, and later on radicals. Level 2 will be to evaluate the exponents. Level 3, multiplication or division, left to right. And level 4, addition or subtraction, left to right. For our first problem, I wanted to look at this one just because it used the brackets a little earlier probably than I would have. I think they used them because they had used the parentheses on the inside to hold the sign in there. So these brackets are still just going to mean the same thing as a parenthesis. So they are grouping symbols. We are going to work from the inside out. Notice the exponents on the outside. And so inside there, we have 9 plus a negative 2. Those are different signs. You're going to subtract. 7, sign of the larger, will be positive. Now, we've finished inside. Before you remove the bracket, check around. There is an exponent, so we should keep the bracket. It matters if you have negative numbers, so we'll just go ahead and keep it all the time. You also want to check in front to see if anything's multiplied. There is not. And so now we're going to work out 7 to the third. So we have 7 times 7 times 7. 7 times 7 is 49. Times one more 7. 343. So 343 is our answer. Our second problem is a very tricky problem. You have to be careful and not get carried away cleaning up the minus and negative to make positive. That would actually break order here. You have an exponent, and this is considered addition and subtraction level. Exponents are on level 2, addition and subtractions on level 4. So you have to do the exponent first. So we're going to do negative 5 squared. The negative is inside. It's going to the power. So it is negative 5 times negative 5, positive 25. We didn't touch this sign. Bring it down. So we have 7 minus 25, or 7 and a negative 25. Different signs, subtract, sign of the larger. Our next problem has a different type of grouping symbol. It has an absolute value, the straight lines. These are still going to go on level 1. All grouping symbols go on level 1. Right. And for an absolute value, we will start inside and work our way out. You will do the absolute after you finish inside. So inside we have different signs. We're going to subtract, which will give 4, sign of the larger, which is positive. You still have the absolute symbols. Now we'll take the absolute value. Absolute means how far is 4 from 0. And that will be 4 spaces. Now the absolute can come off because you've applied the definition. Then we'll go through our order. The next thing we will have will be the exponent. So 7 squared means 7 times 7, which is 49. And last we will have our multiplication. So 4 times 49, 196. For our next problem, we'll just start through our order of operations. We do have a parentheses, and so this is math on the inside of the parentheses. Notice your exponent is on the outside. So 5 minus 2 is 3. We'll finish the parentheses, so we check around. But because there is an exponent, we will keep the parentheses. Bring down your minus. And now we're on level 2, which will be exponents. So we can do 8 squared means 8 times 8 is 64. We can also do 3 to the 4th. You might write that on the side. It's going to give you 81. And now you have different signs. So you're going to subtract and sign of the larger. So sign from the 81. For our next problem, we have two sets of parentheses. So level 1, but they're not inside each other. So we're just going to do them separate. You can do them on the same line. Notice your exponents on the outside. So we have 2 minus 7, or 2 and a negative 7. Different signs, subtract, sign of the larger. So sign's going to come from the 7. Keep your parentheses because there is an exponent. We'll also do the other parentheses. And 4 minus 3, or 4 and a negative 3, is going to give us a 1. Positive, because sign of the larger. We will keep the parentheses because there is an exponent. And now we can do our exponents. This is why we had to keep the parentheses on the first one. Originally, the sign is on the inside. It should still be the same as the original. So negative 5 times negative 5 will give us positive 25. Divided by 1 to the 4th is 1 times 1 times 1 times 1 is still 1. 25 divided by 1 gives us 25. For this next problem, I just scrolled up because I want to make sure that I have enough space. This one has nested grouping symbols right here, one layer inside another, and it has a separate parentheses. So we will start on the nested ones on the innermost set. So 3 minus 6, or 3 and a negative 6, will be different signs, subtract, sign of the larger. So sign is going to come from the 6. Check around your parentheses. There's no exponent. There's nothing right here beside it. So you could take the parentheses off. We'll keep the bracket. Notice what else you have in there, though. You have 7 minus, and then you have this other minus 3. So we will go ahead and keep the parentheses just so the signs don't run together, and we'll bring down the rest. Now we're going to finish up in the bracket, and we have 7 minus a negative 3. This minus a negative will go ahead and clean up and make a plus. 7 plus 3 will give us 10. That's the answer on the inside of the bracket. Check around the bracket. There is no exponent, so we're good there. Nothing right out in front, so we are okay to take that off. Also, if we choose to, we can go ahead and work on the other parentheses because that is still on grouping symbols on level 1 with parentheses. Right, and inside we have different signs. 2 minus 3, or 2 and a negative 3. Different signs, subtract, will give us a negative 1. Since there is an exponent, we will keep it in parentheses. Right. Now we have our problem, 12 minus 10 plus negative 1 to the third. For order, the negative 1 to the third, exponents, will go next. You're going to have 3 negatives there. Negative 1 times negative 1 times negative 1. So the answer will be a negative 1. We can bring everything else down. And just so that we don't get two signs right side by side, we'll keep the parentheses. Now we're actually down to level 4, which says to add and subtract left to right. So we'll just go across. 12 minus 10 will give us 2 plus a negative 1. Different signs, subtract, sign of the larger. So it will give us a positive. Our last problem we'll look at is in vertical form. And remember, you do the numerator, you do the denominator, and the last thing you will do will be this division. So on our numerator, if we go through our list, these parentheses don't count because they don't have math inside. There's no exponents. Third level multiplication or division left to right. So we have a couple of multiplications. We'll do those. This one gives us a negative 10, and this one gives us a positive 6. So I'm going to rewrite it. So I have a negative 10. Don't lose this minus. 6. Right, and I can keep going there. I can take this minus over with my 6. Just to do my sign rules, and it will be like signs. So I'm going to add and keep the sign. Now I'll work on the denominator, And I have nested symbols, so I'm going to go from the inside out. So this innermost set, these are going to be like signs. Like signs are going to add and keep the sign to give me a -4. So I still have my bracket. And now I'll work inside the bracket. So -8 divided by -4 will give me a 2, and the two negatives will give me a positive. I can keep the bracket to show this multiplication. So I have 2 times 2, which will give me 4. Now I'll do my division. 4 into 16 will go 4 times. I have one negative. That's odd, so it is negative.